This podcast contains potentially adult language, adult themes, definitely drinking, and possibly sexual context. Listener discretion is advised. Welcome to Drinking with Authors, the podcast. I'm your host, Erica Lance. My co-host today is the amazing C.R. Rice, and our guest today is the awesome Isabeau Morgan. Woo! Okay, you'd think I was already drinking. Well, I was. I tried something. Welcome to the podcast. Okay, let's talk about what we're drinking first. So we have a sponsor, which is Skunk Brothers Spirits. And so today I'm going to try this. I think I'm going to have to mix it with something because it's 80 proof. It's called Viking Lightning.
Ooh.
Yes, Viking Lightning, 80 proof. It says it's made from locally harvested honey and Washington grown corn. So I'm going to try this in a second after you guys say what you're doing. But I think I'm going to end up mixing some of it in one of my favorites, which is Flat Rock Cider Company, which is up here in North Carolina, and it's called Ice Spice Baby. And now I just realized it actually has like a little vanilla ice guy on the front, and I didn't notice that before, but it does have a little like our story, and it's to the Ice Baby lyrics. It's very funny. Anyway, okay. What are you drinking, CR?
I actually switched back. I think it might maybe is my new favorite drink. I'm doing the green tea and vodka.
The healthy drink. That's what
the
we're
healthy
calling
drink
it.
because I'm all about healthy.
Yes.
And be healthy this year.
Yes. I think that's a great idea. Okay, Isabeau, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking St. Ambrose Cellars. I don't know if people can see this. It's their Topelo. I think I'm saying it right. Ambrosia mead. So this is how it looks right here.
That's super fancy.
That's good.
Okay, so
It's
let me
really
give
delicious.
this a try, and then let me end up pouring this in my cider because I already know it's going to be too much for me. I'm hopeless.
Just throw it back like a shot.
Oh, there is no way that's happening. I will go unconscious if I poured way too much in this cup. Oh, yeah, that's being mixed in. That's going in. Okay.
Does it give you a little buzz of lightning?
Yeah. When you get close, I mean, it's 80 proof, so it smells like sweet rubbing alcohol, but I'm not surprised because it's moonshine and it's called Viking Lightning. It actually doesn't taste bad. It's just very potent. It's very potent. By the way, if you go on skunkbrothersspirits.com, we actually have a coupon code, which is DWA10. And you'll get 10% off your order. And they're amazing, veteran-owned business. Okay, let us begin this podcast before I'm on the floor from drink a shot of this.
You can still do those podcasts from there.
Yeah, exactly. Laying on the floor every now and then my hand comes up. It'll be cool. Okay, Isabeau, let's tell the audience what you write.
So I write horror. So my first novel, Stormstar, is a cosmic horror novel because I'm inspired by Lovecraft and I love mythology and stuff. So I kind of just combined the two and just, made my novel about some ex-father youth in Cleveland who, goes on this adventure to kind of find, about his family and himself, but then he kind of uncovers like a lot of dark secrets about the town he goes to called Rust Springs and evil cults and everything.
You gotta love evil cults. I'm just saying.
They're always fun.
I'm a horror writer. You gotta love evil cults. So this is your first book out?
Yes, it's my first. I self-published. So
how was that?
It was a learning experience for sure, but it felt satisfaction. Like I felt like I get some satisfaction afterwards because, it's just a lot. Like I can't believe I'm kind of like here right now talking with you guys because, just starting with concepts and drafting and then editing and pulling all the artwork together and everything is just wow.
So did you do your own covers?
No, I actually had a friend from Atlanta that I know. He's a really good artist. And so I kind of just would sketch out like how I kind of wanted to look. And then he kind of just, brought it to life and did the rest for me, just kind of defined it.
It's gotta be cool. Okay. What made you decide to self-publish?
I was thinking since, traditional publishing, it seems like there's a lot of like there's a lot of
You could speak
vouching
freely.
yeah, it's just a lot of like vouching and stuff for you. Like sometimes I know that people don't really get published until they're 30 sometimes because they just be kind of getting a manuscript out to people and they'll be like, well, that's not a genre we're looking to, or that's not a story we feel like we want to publish or tell and stuff. So it's like, if there's a means of technology out there, I don't see why I can't just, put my story in to see what happens.
That's true. Have you always been a writer?
Yes, I still have my old notebook over there in my closet that I've written in since I was 8 years old.
Very cool. So from a young age, did you go, that's it, I want to be a writer?
I don't know. I think I wanted to be an artist first because I just like drawing and I liked animation, just art and motion, but I'm not particularly inclined in that area. But I just had I guess I had a talent with just language and writing. So I just kind of focused on that as well.
Very cool. What made you decide to go the horror route? As a horror writer, I know what made me decide to go that route, but what made you decide to go that route?
I don't know. It's kind of weird because I always started off like I thought I would probably like write more of a high fantasy kind of thing when I was younger. But I guess as I got older and I just have like, more life experiences, I guess, and just interests. I feel like
And
sometimes
the world went to crap and I decided to write about how horrible it was. I love that. Just kidding. I put words in her mouth. That's not what actually just happened. When I was young, everything was unicorns and fairies. And now I realize it's serial killers and demons. That's as I aged.
Yeah, but I've always thought like, the most profound stories I've like listened to were always like the more darker ones and they're more interesting. So, I kind of in college, I wanted to be like a forensic psychologist and stuff. So I just think that kind of is interesting to see like how people can get into extreme mindset, which Stormstar kind of explores with the cult and how that kind of evolves and affects people and the world around them.
Very cool. So you self-published. Did you go the whole getting an editor, getting a typesetter, all of that, or where did you go with that?
I basically just kind of did it on house for the most part. So I would basically just kind of, write the initial draft, take a break, and then just kind of go back and just kind of read over critically and just go through it. But, I always say that, everybody needs to have like an editor anyways, even if they edit their own stuff, because you're always going to, miss something. And I missed stuff. So I actually had like a second, actually had two editors actually help me out with just kind of, making sure the grammar, the pacing was good and I wasn't missing anything because sometimes you get plot holes.
No, that's always a good thing. Editors have a very key function in this world for us.
Yes.
So how long did it take you to write this novel?
I think I started with the concepts probably in 2015. And then probably around 2016, I actually kind of started like actually getting into writing the first iteration of the manuscript. And then I think probably after a year, I kind of had it done. But it seems like probably 2 years of editing because it's like, I think 2017 all the way until like 2018. Then 2019, I published it in September after kind of going through like a 6 draft, I think.
Very cool. So where does the next one then? Are you working on the next one? I'm assuming you're working on the next one.
Yes, I'm actually going through and editing stuff because I'm going to do like a web series kind of format where I would just publish it to my website. And, I think it'd be a good way to get a reader base because I can kind of, keep writing, but then I can kind of cultivate an audience over time because they'll be able to see the, work online.
Oh, that's very awesome. So how far into the second round are you so far?
I'm still kind of setting stuff up. Like I pretty much have like 2 episodes kind of down pat pretty good. I just have to review them. And then I'm trying to get like at least 3 episodes kind of out there and then I can kind of like work from there from the rest of it. But I pretty much have like, I think 8 episodes at least for the first season, quote unquote, the story.
Very cool. What made you actually finally decide to get it all published or like take us on that journey? The first one.
Of Stormstar?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I just kind of wanted to express myself creatively and share with other people because I think I like doing that. Like as much like being a hermit and just kind of, being in my own world and writing. I think I really enjoy sharing stuff with people and then they enjoy it. So I think that's why I want to share my work. So I think, you know what, I'm just going to take a gamble and do it.
Did you take creative writing classes in school or anything like that?
Yes, like in English classes, usually we'll have like a creative writing course. I think in high school, we just had like a separate creative writing and I apparently was pretty good at it. I didn't have any complaints. So, and it was fun class. I just like just creating best way to express
So
yourself.
you set this in modern times, but how much world building did you need to do for this?
A lot. I actually have like an entire like Word file that's probably like a couple 100 pages long of just like lore of like how I want a background, because because that's like the whole thing about cosmic horror. It doesn't really like so much as like tell with descriptions like how stuff is. And I kind of like to keep it a little bit mystic and not so much just throwing out there.
Very cool. Did you set it up to be a series, or was it a standalone when you decided to write it?
This one's a standalone, even though the next project I'm doing is going to be part of the same universe. Basically, is just going to be different characters and a setting and a time period. Like I think the first Stormstar was in 1997. I think this is going to be like early mid 2000s in Montana somewhere.
Oh wow, are you from Montana?
No, actually, no. I have friends over there, and it's really pretty. I just kind of wanted to do it in a world where it kind of just has like dramatic land features, and it's kind of like rural and isolated over there to a degree. So it's like I kind of want to get into that thing where it's kind of like you have civilization, then you have nature, and then the force of nature kind of going against people with these mystic forces.
Oh, that makes sense. Totally. So what was it like? So this took you several years. So what do you feel it was like going through this process?
For Stormstar, I feel like the writing part is not bad because I can probably go through that really easy and stuff. It's just the editing was just terrible. Sometimes that's why I always tell people like just enjoy creating and writing in the moment, because there always will be a lot of time to edit afterwards. And that usually isn't always fun. I mean, you're polishing the story, but it's like, I'm kind of tired of reading the script over and over again.
Well, have you for the writing that you've done, do you have a writers group or a critique group or anything like that you're working with?
I used to have some in my area. Like when I was kind of drafting the story, I was in DC at the time, so we actually had like a local DC writers group that would meet probably every other week or so, and we just kind of get together and just share what we wrote and give feedback.
Okay.
And then here we had one, but I think it kind of dissolved or fizzled out, and it kind of got even more complex after the whole COVID thing. It just made it hard for anything, because I was part of like an independent game indie group where people like create their own games and stuff, like video games. But yeah, it's just been kind of hard to get everybody together nowadays, but hopefully that'll change soon.
No, that's true. So you're a gamer?
Yes. I love video games. Video games kind of, I guess, inspired me to write stuff because it's more interactive. And I do eventually want to make a video game or two, but I just have to learn some programming and kind of see and, build up resources in order to do it. Because you have to, hire another programmer if you need it. You have to have artists, you have to have animators and all that kind of stuff.
No, I know it's a lot. Would you build a game based on your world or something different?
I actually kind of do want my next one. I kind of saw it as a video game, and I kind of had like mechanics set up to how it would play out, but I might have to put it on a back burner just to kind of get the story out there first. And then I don't know, we'll see what happens. If the audience really likes it, then and they want to support it, then I can probably do that sometime in the future.
Very cool. Chels?
I know you said that you had pages and pages of lore and how you were creating your world. Is it like actual lore, or are you creating your own lore?
I created my own lore. Like I always have like inspiration from, mythology and stuff. I kind of just put my own twist and spin on it. And so it's just something like completely, different and original. But I kind of just like to have the audience kind of figure it out, because I give certain hints about certain things. But, I just kind of like to keep things a little bit of a mystery.
Very cool.
It's like a bunch of mini stories.
Yep.
Yeah. So besides this, have you published any short stories, anything like that?
I'm trying to think if I have recently. I was looking into probably getting into like probably just publishing a story or two just to kind of get out there, maybe in a magazine or something.
Yeah, there's a lot of anthologies that look for horror authors regularly, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So that's always a great avenue to continue to get your work out there for your fans to see. Have you actually done an in-person event at all with your books?
Yes, actually, last October, at Spooky Empire. It's like one of the nation's like largest horror conventions in
Oh,
Orlando.
I'm a very big frequenter of
Yeah.
Spooky Empire.
So
I know
actually,
it well.
so I was actually able to get a table there, and it was really nice just to meet people and connect with things. And that's how I kind of met some people at Four Horse Publishing, because they had a panel and just kind of, interacting with people.
Very cool. Yeah, I know Four Horsemen Publishing very well. That is I. I'm
Yes.
the CEO of it. So yes, that's cool.
That's why I was
So
like,
that-
wait a second, what did she just say?
Yeah, no, she just found it. She found out about it.
I
That
was-
must mean you talked to Valerie, right?
Yes, I talked to Valerie there because she was hosting an event with some of my other table mates, who was a filmmaker, Mike Linden, and then Dale Ashman is also a writer for different cultural zines and stuff like that. So we actually just wanted to say, just say, hey, I just want to connect, and here I am.
That's very cool. Have you done a lot of podcasts or anything like that? What kind of promotion have you done?
This is my first one. I'm still kind of figuring out the whole marketing angle of stuff, basically, because I don't know, it's just kind of hard, because even though I am in, marketing and I have experience in it, it's just kind of like you're just trying to find your own voice about how you want to present yourself. But I think connecting organically is like the best way, because, just going to those in-person events, it just showed me that, there's a lot of value in that.
Oh, there is. Fans love to meet with people. I mean, do you have a Facebook group?
I have a Facebook page. I haven't started a group per se yet.
You may want to start a group. I recommend that to any up and coming authors or even artists or anybody. Is having a group on your Facebook page allows your fans to connect with each other, and then you can invite other horror authors to do takeovers and vice versa. So you get cross fan pollination, but it gives them a chance to hear from you and talk and interact, because I think in today's day and age, authors aren't like hiding under some bush that you rarely see anywhere. They're out, in front of everybody and, interacting and stuff like that, which you probably saw at Spooky Empire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was really cool. So yeah, I'm just kind of just working my way out there. I did publish my first holiday newsletter like last month. So that's out there. People just want to sign up to my newsletter on my website and just kind of, see what's going on. I have pictures of the event too on there.
Very cool. Did you do some panels at Spooky?
No, not this time around. I think I kind of asked around for it, but I wasn't too sure. And then it seemed like there was like maybe some scheduling conflicts. So, I mean, it's fine. There's always next time. And I plan to do like more in-person events and just kind of looking to see if there's any like specifically like genre related conventions going on currently.
There are a couple I can tell you about. Phantasm is one of them that's in your area that comes up in August. It's a horror convention.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And
Okay.
yeah, I think it's August 16th this year. I don't know that they've opened everything yet for as far as, getting booths, but I happen to know the person who runs the author track there. That would be me. And
Okay.
all the authors get in free and stuff like that for the booths. They don't even have to pay for the booths.
Okay,
Authors
cool.
get in free at Phantasm. So if you're a horror author out there and you hear that, you're going to be in the Orlando area around August, that Phantasm, spelled with an F, is an amazing convention. And they really support their authors, and which is what a lot of conventions should be doing, because that's an art that needs to be there along with celebrities and stuff like that. So that can be very, very cool. Okay, awesome. Well, we're going to take a quick break and we will be right back with Isabeau.
Okay.
Sample locally sourced, quality distilled spirits in the beautiful Columbia River Gorge. At Skunk Brothers Distillery, we're family owned, brewing small batch grain to bottle spirits, just like our grandfather did back in the Prohibition era. From handcrafted bourbons and moonshine to flavored blends and cordials infused with local fruit. Join us for a tasting tour and buy Skunk Brothers spirits straight from the source.
It's all in the family at Skunk Brothers Spirits, located in Stevenson, Washington.
Okay, we're back. So let's talk about creating a cult. What made you decide to go the route of creating a cult for these characters? Was it something that inspired you to do that?
Well, I don't know. I'm just kind of like, it's interesting to kind of see like extreme mindsets and stuff. So I kind of just looked at different groups like hate movements or kind of like, religious cults, like, Jim Jones and stuff. So yeah, so I kind of just went that route and just kind of created like these people following a group of personality around this certain ideology that's just like, well, we're going to bring forth this world, and this world is not going to be for us anymore, and everything's going to fizzle out. And it's just kind of like a really kind of a dire cult, but there's some, I guess, some sort of form of happiness. But on the outside looking in, it just kind of looks terrifying.
So when you started this, describe a little bit about your main character to us?
Yes, Ash Yeagerhun. He's just kind of a, just kind of like a down and out person living in, Cleveland, kind of just, picking up roadkill. So I don't know. I'm kind of inspired by people that kind of just, the everyman character. And as for him being the foster youth, that's kind of a setup because he doesn't know his family. And I've kind of used to work with foster kids and stuff like that. And it's just, they have like a good spirit about how they have to, keep strong and get through it. And yeah, it's just kind of like just stuff I've kind of took in from just living in Ohio and dealing with that kind of, just being in, that environment where it's like Americana, but then with, the dropout of the economy and stuff is just kind of like, it's in a town where it's kind of like everything's just drying up and kind of an inner decay and stuff. Rust Belt.
So he picks up roadkill. Did you do research into such a job? Actually,
Yeah, there's
there's
a Dirty Job episode where they kind of describe it, and it's just a common thing, just deer roadkill. So I just kind of went with that, just something that wasn't just glamorous. I was just kind of like a down to earth kind of guy, just kind of down on his luck.
Yeah, no, I was going to say that is the opposite of glamorous, is being a roadkill technician. Well, I don't know what the exact correct job is there. Roadkill technician specialist, roadkill
Cleanup?
executive manager of roadkill. I think we could come up with
making
really
it all
fun titles, fancy
Yeah.
titles for roadkill. So when you're creating this whole thing, was there something that started it, or were you just in that little book you said that's in eye shot of you right now? Was this just one of the notes, or did something come to you that you were like, this is it?
Yeah, like kind of started out like it was a different process. How it was like, it was supposed to be like an art student and like a ex-porn star or something that have to solve a mystery together in this town that they live in. But it kind of just evolved.
And an ex-porn star.
Yes.
How the hell did you go there? You know what I'm going to put together? What made you think of that? That's pretty awesome.
Gonna be like a Back to the Future style thing. Don't explain how they met or why they're friends. Just it is what it is.
Yeah, no, just stuff I've just studied and just gone into. Like I usually just pick topics of interest and locales that kind of interest me. So I decided it'd be just an interesting, unique kind of perspective. Even though the ex-porn star character does kind of is in the book still as like another protagonist, but she's just in a different role in the story.
Very cool. So were you a huge horror fan before you started writing these?
Well, I always did like, certain stuff. I really like werewolf movies and stuff, and they don't really make those anymore, like Silver Bullet, Dog Soldiers. I think I've been watching that twice now with friends just to catch up. I'm like, that's like the best werewolf movie ever. So I kind of just I like monster movies. The thing also kind of played into inspiration with how the monsters and some of my creatures look.
Very cool. So what has the feedback been from fans and stuff that have read the book?
It's been mostly positive. Like I think somebody compared it to, I think Lovecraft meets Dean Koontz or something. I guess that's good. Just kind of like a quirky off story, but a lot of people just like the pacing, because I don't really spend a lot of time like chewing scenery for the most part. I just kind of like to get into the action, the meat and bones and stuff. So I'm a really rapid fire writer for the most part.
No, that's very cool. So you went to Spooky Empire. Did you meet anybody who had previously read the book before you went there?
Not really. I think it was just like a whole new group of people that, I didn't really know too much going in. I think I probably seen like some of the people that were on like, the talk tracks for authors and stuff, and just like, oh, those people sound kind of neat. And I kind of have like their books wish listed. I kind of bought some other authors' books just to kind of read later and just see what's out there. But yeah, it was just like, I didn't know what to expect, but I think just like not ever really have an expectation or pressure about it. Just going in there, just kind of embracing the moment really worked out well.
Very cool. What was it like the first time selling your book to people in person?
I really enjoyed it. I did a writing thing locally, like a little like signing event at like a local bookstore, but kind of got, I wasn't the attendance we were expecting, because I had to cancel it because I think something else got canceled, and then the next wave of COVID restrictions hit. So it was kind of like, yeah, it wasn't like a whole lot of attendance, but no, it was just fun just to see how people meet and talk to them, just hear their life story. And I feel like Spooky Empire kind of like, I got more of that because there's a lot of people that could relate to what I'm writing, and they're fans too of the genre. So it was just a really cool experience.
Very cool. Did you happen to cosplay as any of the characters you have in the book?
No, but that probably is a good idea.
Did you have a chance to meet Jackie Sonnenberg when you were at
I was
Spooky?
gonna say Jackie.
I don't think so.
She dresses like the characters in her book. She dresses like Mary Had a Little Lamb, but Mary's mouth is covered.
She has a terrifying sheep that she brings around with her as well.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, no, she dresses as her characters, and she has so much fun at those conventions and stuff like that.
That's awesome.
I think that's an ultimate, whether you're cosplaying or the fans are cosplaying for your characters. What kind of stuff do you like to read?
I like to read just research. Like, I like a lot of like true crime stuff is interesting. I just bought I have 2 mythology books sitting beside me I got from Barnes and Nobles during a sale. So it's like,
Oh, we lost you there for a second.
Drop my videos. So I got a book of Chinese myths and legends, and then I got one for Norse mythology, which is cool. So
very cool. So the authors that you met at Spooky Empire, did you talk to them about their career paths and what they did, and did you get a bunch of advice?
Yeah, I got some insight into that, and they're very helpful in how they kind of describe their journey. They even had resources and stuff in some cases for me. So yeah, it was just very it was very positive to see how other people take, there really is no I think right way of publishing. It's just what you think is best for you and your work, I think.
No, totally. I think you have to find what is right for you, what works for you, that sort of thing. What is it like when you sit down to write? Describe a perfect writing scenario for you.
Well, I'm in my bed usually, and I kind of have I guess some music or video to kind of sometimes maybe just kind of just jog my memory and just kind of, just put me in a certain moment. So sometimes I'll probably just look at documentaries of certain places that I want to write about, or certain music that kind of resonates with the characters or the setting, and just kind of get into that mindset. And I just kind of just put pen to paper, just write something.
Very, very cool.
So where do you get your ideas from? Just anything? Or
yeah, just nature. I was like a military brat basically, so we moved all over. So I kind of want to do a story about Hawaii because that's just such a cool location.
Yeah, it sounds like a very cool location.
Yes,
Would you do it based on some of the mythos and horror that's there? There's a lot of very interesting lore in Hawaii.
Yeah, that's what I kind of like to just take inspiration from, is just kind of like how the local atmosphere is. And there's a lot of, it's like a melting pot in Hawaii where they have a lot of cool, Japanese kind of legends, and you get the native Hawaiian stuff and Chinese. It's just a lot of stuff you can probably do and work with around there that's pretty unique.
When you start researching, do you find you go down a rabbit hole?
Yes.
I think that's very easy to do when you're researching. What do you listen to when you said music or watching movies? What kind of stuff do you listen to?
I it just depends. I don't really have a specific I guess a genre, I'm just gonna listen to this and nothing else. I just kind of pull up I like industrial rock, so I'll listen to KMFDM or Pig or something in the background, just kind of if it's that kind of thing, just for the nightclub in Stormstar. That's kind of the music, because it is industrial nightclub. And it kind of was inspired by a nightclub I went to go see an artist I like. So
very cool. You can listen to lyrics. Not a lot of authors can listen to lyrics while they're writing. Some get very sidetracked when they're listening to lyrics and sing along and other things. How much can you get done in a sitting? When you're at a really good clip, what is it that you're doing?
I could probably like do probably 2,000 words, just depending on how like I can really get motivated. I know everybody can just like spill out a bunch of stuff, but that usually is my pacing. Like I kind of not focused. I kind of do try to get like a word count goal, but if it's just not working that day or something, I don't really beat myself up. I'm just like, you know what, just do it next time. And it just builds up on top of each other, which is my kind of philosophy is that, just write something every day, even if it's just like 100 words or just like a grocery list. It's just get something out there. It all adds up.
That's the right way to do it, is to do that. When you've gotten feedback from your editor, what are the things that I think every author has sort of Achilles heels, things they do repetitively. What are your things?
I gotta watch some of my grammar and tenses, because sometimes I've switched tenses, and I'm actually, helping. I'm doing a editor job for like a video game script, so I'm actually helping out, that writer with stuff. So it's just kind of like, it's stuff that you kind of look out for in other people, but sometimes you just miss it yourself because you're kind of just in a different mindset, or I'll miss a plot hole or change a detail, but then I don't go back to change it. It's just, yeah, it's nice that somebody has your back on stuff.
When you go to do your own editing, how do you do it? I know a lot of authors will do things like print it out, change the font, things like that, so they're not looking at the same exact manuscript that they wrote into. What do you do?
I don't know if I ever really have a technique. I just kind of pace myself to kind of get through it, which I think is probably more easier, because I can kind of, just scan stuff and then just kind of pick out certain things. So I'll probably be like, well, I'm just going to do, if it's like a certain number of page book, like 300, I'll just like divide up into like 10 to 50 pages a night and just kind of just get through it. But I really don't have like a unique process. I just kind of just take breaks and have somebody else kind of look at it if I need to take a break, which I had to do for my Stormstar, because after a while, I think your mind just kind of fills in the blanks on a lot of stuff. And you're like, okay, yeah, that's not a problem. They're like, well, wait a minute, you didn't explain this part. So you catch it later with somebody else.
No, absolutely. That's exactly what happens. That's why we cannot edit our own work, because we fill in the blanks and already know what we were thinking.
Mhm.
And then that's why a second set of eyes is always a great way to do it. What surprised you about self-publishing? What were you not anticipating that came up?
I think it's just a lot of like it's not instantaneous. Like I think people just think like you can just put something out there and it gets popular, but it's not. It is like a buildup. You kind of do have to build your own audience. And I think that's kind of like the stage I'm stuck in. It's just like, I just got to get out there and just start building audience. So yeah, I think that's like the thing, because I think with traditional publishing, I think they kind of already have like a certain setup and they'll help you along the way. But if you're indie, you're going to have to just expect that you're going to have to do a lot of legwork yourself.
No, well, just for the record, people have to do a lot of legwork regardless regardless of who they have as a publisher, because not a lot of publishers actually do a lot of marketing for their people, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So when you were actually uploading it, did anything surprise you about the cover or anything like that when you were doing those things?
Well, yeah, cover formatting is like another issue you might get into, because it's like something might look good, but then you always have to just make sure you have like a test copy or something printed out, because I think one time I did it, the cover was way too small. So it had like a really unsightly white border around everything. It just didn't look right.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What was it like getting the book in your hand for the first time?
It's really rewarding. It's like, well, I actually put something and it becomes like a physical creation almost. That people can, have and hold. It just, and I can't really put in the words. It's just like, it just feels like an accomplishment. Like, wow, I did that, but then I can't believe I did that.
No, very cool.
I think that feeling stays. Like, no
Yeah.
matter how many books you get out, every time you get the next one, you're like, holy shit, I finished another one.
Yeah,
Or
my mind is just
whatever
blown
it
every
is.
time. Yeah.
Very cool. Chels?
Have you thought about switching genres? Like, do you have plans to write in another genre?
Yeah, I actually do kind of want to write like more romance, or I guess more like erotica stuff. So I kind of do have like my own separate pen name and set up for that. I just need to, do legwork on that, just kind of get some pieces out there. But yeah, I think that's something else that I'm kind of interested in. And I think it kind of helps you write more, because you're more like, erotica, you're more focused on the sensations and what's going on, the feelings and emotions of that. So I think it kind of does help my writing in other ways too.
Very cool. Have you already started writing stories in that under that, or is it just something you're beginning to create on?
Yeah, I've have written stuff before. I'm just kind of like getting back into the swing of it. I kind of did like a lot last year and the year before that, but yeah, I just haven't formally published anything yet.
Well, that's
Do you
very
have
good.
plans to sometime soon in the future?
Yes, yeah, I kind of do want to see how I get out there. I have done like a ASMR script, and I can just kind of hired like a voice actor to kind of, just read out a scenario, and I just want to see what happens. Like you just never know until you put yourself out there.
No, absolutely. So when do you think the next thing will come out? So if fans want to go get your book today, when is the next thing that will come out?
Oh my gosh, there's no really certainties, and I just kind of hate doing deadlines because I've done that before with Stormstar. I'm like, okay, it's gonna come out this time, and then it's like, oh crap, we got a editing deadline. We need to fix up some stuff. We found something else came up, so. But I'm hopefully thinking by the end of March, I'll have this year. I'll have something out on my website for people to read and get into.
Very, very cool. So end of March.
Yes.
Do you know what the name of what you're going to put out is?
It's just kind of going as Project Blackwater for now. So that's like my follow-up, where it's this tech worker in Seattle goes to Montana to try to find his wife, who's a photographer, and she was last seen missing in this like little, I guess like ex-mining, now turns like a more resort kind of town place. So the book is gonna be named after a town, but I just kind of want to keep that a secret until it's formally released, and I have the artwork ready for that season, so people are going to be able to see, like, I have monster concepts on there so far. I have like the facade of the hotel where my character stays at, that's like home base, and then I'm going to have like more like the actual characters once I get my artist and everything together for concepts.
Very, very cool. Okay, well, what advice would you give authors out there?
I would just say, regardless of how far you get into the journey, if you want to publish or not publish, just really enjoy what you're doing in the moment. Don't get too hung up on like a lot of critical thinking or whatever, or just worry about what people say. Just do something that you like to do.
Oh, that's
Right, what
awesome.
interests you and what moves you. Yes.
Awesome. And how do fans find you?
They can find me. My main website is heavyrushmediallc.com. That's my my brand name, my company. And then I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter, and I'm on YouTube under those names as well. And I also have like a Goodreads page, which I need to put a link to, but people can find me there and just see what I'm doing. And I have a blog up there, so I'm hoping to do more updates as stuff develops too.
And you have a newsletter that they can sign up for, right?
Yes. So they can sign up. I forget the title of it, but yeah, it's on my website. So when you go to the contact page, there should be just like a little pop-up that says, hey, subscribe to a newsletter, and just kind of get the inside scoop on what, I'm working on developing and events and special things I might be doing. So they can just, sign up, and then they'll just get a copy of my newsletter.
Very, very cool. Well, it has been awesome to have you on the podcast, and your book is Stormstar by I.N. Morgan.
Yep.
If they're looking for it on Amazon, is there anywhere else they can find it?
Shoot, Amazon, Barnes and Noble, I think Kobo. I think just any like physical or digital retailer you can think of for ebooks or physical copies. And I plan on expanding physical distribution too, to like inside stores like Barnes and Nobles with Ingram sometime soon. So
very, very cool. Well, you have been awesome to have on the podcast. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very
It's
cool.
nice talking to
Okay.
everybody.
Yes. So this has been Drinking with Authors. I've been your host, Erica Lance. My co-host has been C.R. Rice. Our amazing guest has been Isabeau Morgan. And again, shout out to our sponsors, Skunk Brothers Spirits, Viking Lightning. It is lightning. It is definitely lightning. Don't forget to use the coupon code DWA10, and we will see you guys next time.
Hey, thanks everybody.